opportunity for growth. And,
100%.
and like when you just and it just hit me like you would hang out with Hef Chef. I would hang
Right.
out with Hef Chef. I mean, why would you not want to
As if
be?
these people even have the
One
opportunity.
second. No, please, it doesn't work that way. So, why wouldn't you want to be around the Secretary of State, someone of influence, no matter how you feel? It's just to me, it's crazy as hell that you would even say that. I don't want to be around him. So wait, you don't meet him. He never get to know you. And you not meeting him didn't change his fucking life. Where you going there meeting him could have got you a connection that could have changed your fucking life. You're not gonna be able to change his life. And you tell me something. Are you gonna go there like you wouldn't go and protest? Sometimes people need to fucking think before they speak, bro, because it just exposes just divine. It exposes how out of touch you are with business, networking and just growth, personal growth. I land, bro.
Well, everyone's
Eh,
can have their opinion. Me, nah, I'm good. I wouldn't want to hang out with Pete Hexa. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry you feel that I would be missing out
But
on an opportunity
what
to
would you want
meet
to change
Pete
his mind
Hexa.
about, Divine?
Nothing. I would. I probably would not be able to change his mind about
Well,
anything.
you wouldn't be able to if you never meet him.
Yeah, I'm good.
Or believed that you could.
Everybody's different. Like I don't know why I'm being attacked for questioning you hanging out with Keith Hegseth. I don't think it's
It's
a good
more that
look,
it's
and that's my
preposterous that you're
This
turning
bro.
is
down an
not an
You're
opportunity
attack,
talking
you never
over
though.
had.
me. Like I can't even get a word in, and you just gotta jump in. That's my opinion. I don't think it's a good look for Grant, the Grant that I know, to be hanging out with Keith Hegseth or whatever his name is. I don't think it's a good look. That's my opinion. I
Yeah,
mean,
Grant, you need to take his PR advice.
So is it a bad look for me to hang out with Donald Trump,
uh,
Don Jr.,
I don't know,
Eric
man. It
Trump?
depends on where you're trying to go with it. I mean, you have people that like me who don't look at these people favorably, and if that's who you want to hang out, that's cool. Show me your friends, and I'll show you who you are. That's how I was brought up.
Interesting.
So you would judge me for hanging out with the Trump family?
The
I,
president.
I I would not judge you, but I think others would. You hang out with us. I know Grant, but people may look at you differently. Like, oh shit, why is he fucking with Hegseth? That's how I'm thinking.
But do
You
you know
know,
that that goes?
the defense secretary. You guys, guys, listen to me. I want you guys to sit here. You not meeting these people in power doesn't hurt them or change their life not one bit. Okay, doesn't change their future. Doesn't affect potentially affect their grandchildren or children's future. Okay, but you you meeting them, yeah, we could do that. And I think it's bad advice that people listen to me. It's crazy. Yeah, you know how many people in the hood never leave the fucking hood because they don't trust anyone outside the hood. Let that sit in for a little while, okay? And 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 some of you guys have trusted, but you guys only trust with so much. But how many people you guys know, that's in the hood that have never fucking left the hood, that have gotten shot, killed, in prison, whatever, are just sitting in there existing because they never trusted anyone outside of it. So it's crazy as hell to hear a school teacher. And I'm not coming at you like that, but I'm just saying because I just thought that
Oh,
you of
you
all.
are coming at me,
No,
but it's
actually I'm
okay.
not.
It's cool.
Actually I'm not. Okay, and you know what? I'm gonna stay quiet because I don't want to give you any growth information. But I don't want to. I don't want to give you. Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're old enough that if I'm coming at you right now, then I'm gonna stop because I don't want to stomp on your feelings. Okay. All
It's
right,
not about feelings,
I don't want to
Jonathan.
say something that may spur growth in you. So I'm gonna be quiet.
I mean, the poll literally is like 54% to 46% saying no. All money is not good money. And why would you try to change somebody's life or somebody else change your life? This isn't Oprah. And I mean, it's just a personal thing. And please, Jonathan, I don't know why you have to use the hood as an example because a lot of us can't relate to that. But a lot of families have gate kept things for generations. Like my
Mhm.
people, the Creoles, they literally did not interact, marry, or do business with you unless
Yeah.
you were Jean de Couleur Libre, and it literally kept them in certain positions for centuries. The Japanese were quite notorious for that. The Chinese at one point. Everybody gatekeeps everything. That's not
Yeah.
unusual.
First of all,
Some
we're not talking
people
about
don't care
gatekeeping.
How,
about.
how are
Okay,
the
It is
I'm
Creole?
not
part of
talking.
How are the
First of all,
gatekeeping.
Creoles
Yes,
doing?
it is.
first of all, Miki, I'm not talking about gatekeeping. Secondly, the what you say and then about the Creole and how they act and how sometimes you act in here is just totally different. Okay, from what you say they are the bourgeoisie and all that other stuff and bougie and this that. I know what bourgeoisie is and how
Because
they
you
supposed
think
to.
language is bougie, and that's a
No, I'm
limitation
not
of how
talking
you were
about.
reared. You said
No,
how
no.
I act in certain
Okay.
situations, as if we don't have a president who grabbed coochies and is a felon. Negro,
Mm,
please.
Why are you bringing
Negro,
up about the presidents? They're unstoppable.
so,
He wasn't
so
a
it's
president
like
I can
yet.
bring
He
up
it's
just
like
whatever
said
I
he
want
it's
to
like
wasn't
bring up.
doing it.
I
you know
think
what
you attack.
I'm gonna
I
tell you
think you
something.
attack
I,
divine when you've
I,
had like people that have
Hey,
chosen
who
not
is
to
this
go meet the
broad?
president for
Hey,
whatever
Jennifer, where'd you get
reason,
this girl from,
yeah,
man?
and
Did you
that's
get her from
perfectly
when you
up
India?
have
to
people in
them.
here telling people when you have people in here telling people that hey forego opportunity, okay, for leadership of the country. Okay,
That's
not
his choice, not yours.
we're not talking about
Oh,
gangs. We're not
what I
talking
want
about
to
criminals.
know.
Wait. We're talking about
One more thing, John.
we're talking about respect. We're talking about respect. No. We're talking about respected positions. Okay, and these are respected positions, and you're telling them, hey, if you get to meet a Secretary of State, yeah, I met Pete Hegseth. He's not the best one that I would want to meet, but at least I met the fucking Defense Secretary
Well,
before.
then that's you. Leave other
Whatever.
people for their own choices.
Yeah,
Damn.
exactly. What the fuck was your? I'm just kidding. What was your deal when I talked to Divine? Divine's a grown ass man. And in fact, I said, you know what? If he doesn't want to receive it, I'm not going to give it to him. But
Well, he
you
was
guys,
talking to Grant
I see
and you intervened.
how you guys
Grant
are
is
so
not
much about
offended. Why
growth.
are you
How
offended?
you guys are so much about growth that you guys come in here and you tell everyone else
Who's
not to
talking
take
about
opportunity of growth.
growth? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about networking. That's growth.
But
Okay.
that's your opinion. If you're in a
No, it's
position
not
where you
actually.
feel
It's not an
need to
opinion. It's a
network,
fact.
then speak for yourself.
That's a fact. Okay, networking. Okay, what they show me your network, and I'll show you. And I'll tell you your net worth. Come on, I don't want to hear that.
Well,
You
that's
guys,
not for you to hear. You're not his daddy or his son. Let that
I'm
man
not
make
trying
his
to be
own
his daddy.
decisions.
I'm not. Why the fuck is it your problem anyway? Why the fuck is it your fight?
How is it my problem and I'm not fighting? I merely pointed out
I
to
don't know
you
why
that
anyone's
a
fighting
lot of
because
people
none of you
make
guys have the
decisions
opportunity to meet this guy in the
about
first
not
place.
wanting to
So
interact
no
with
one cares
people.
about your opinion about whether or not you want to meet him because it's never going to happen.
So
Wouldn't you
let me
want
ask
to
a
meet this
question.
person and then
Jonathan,
make your own assessment? Why
Didn't you
not
jump
meet and then
in?
make your own assessment?
How
Hold
can
on,
you make an
Jonathan, did
assessment
you
from
jump
hanging
in
out for
because
30
Divine
minutes?
said he didn't want he didn't think Grant should meet him or something? Why did you jump in, Jonathan? I'm confused.
I jumped in because,
Uh-huh.
and I'll tell you why I jumped in. I jumped in out of a place of growth and and just giving
No,
some
no, I
information.
get
No, no,
that.
no, no, no.
Mhm.
Wait. That's what I did. Okay, I didn't jump in whatever because I think that people when people say, "Hey, I'm not going to do this," and because of this not this is the defense secretary. Okay, this
Mhm.
is not. We're not talking about a crime or boss or anything like that. No matter what, how you may feel, these are positions of power that you know what you get to meet, and it's once in a lifetime. Okay, to meet a sitting president, to meet a sitting defense secretary, and all that other stuff, and then you say, oh no, you tell someone not to do it, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. When you're meeting that person, there's other people of power around. Okay, so to tell someone, even if you don't want to meet that person, there's other people of power and influence around that person. Okay,
So
but for me
They
to
act
give some
like I'm
great
meeting.
information,
They act like I'm meeting Jeffrey Epstein or something.
yeah, Grant, you know what's crazy?
Right?
They're
well,
gonna
you might
argue
as
me
I
well
up.
be
don't
meeting
Grant,
even
they're
Grant
about
know.
to argue
This is
Epstein.
me up
going to
and
be
down
bad.
about.
You
This is
They're,
going to
you
be a
they're
might as
about
bad
to
well.
argue
weekend
me
for
up and
Grant.
down about growing my network, about growing
So
network. That's what
so
they're about
you
to argue
so
with me. I'm going to have to go on
so
mute and I'm
you
going to
think
listen to
it's
them. Wait,
good? So you
one
think
second,
it's
Rochelle.
okay?
I'm going to go on mute and I'm going to listen to them argue with me about you know about growing network. That's what I'm about to hear right now. We went way past silly
Um,
land, but I'm going to listen to it. I'm not going to say anything. Go ahead, guys.
so I think that's in your opinion, because you speak about the position, but what about the person in the position? If you don't respect that particular person based on what you know about them, then why would you care to meet them? Because you're meeting the person, right?
But
So
how do you know what you think is
I
real?
get
Let
what
her
you're
finish. Let her
saying.
hang on.
I get what you're saying about having once in lifetime opportunities to meet individuals in certain positions of power. But if a person has no respect for that individual, look at all of the athletic teams who have won all of these big athletic games, Super Bowl, NBA, whatever the end games are, and they refuse to go to the White House and meet Donald Trump. So are those people cutting their nose off to spite their faces? Or are they saying that this person, based on his policies, based on what he's done, based on X, Y, and Z, I don't want to meet that person? So I think that Divine was attacked because it's his position that he chooses who he wants to meet or not meet. And that's okay. It doesn't matter what position the person is in or how powerful they are. If that person is not respected by the individual, that person has a choice. And that's all. Grant does what he does. Grant knows what he's trying to do. This is Grant's, administration. So of course he's going to go meet with him. Why wouldn't he? Those are his people. So it's okay that he did it, but for Divine, it's not. And I don't think that it has anything to do with networking with the people around him, any of that is his personal choice. Think
And you're right. And I'll say this: it was my personal choice to say something. Divine felt a need. Grant didn't ask Divine's permission. Grant didn't ask Divine's a blessing. He just made a statement, and Divine responded to it. And guess what? I responded to Divine's statement, and you guys and because once again, you guys are upset because you guys seem like you guys want to encourage low level thinking here.
no,
I'm saying,
that's
no, 1 second. I didn't interrupt you.
go ahead,
Okay.
Jonathan.
Well, you guys want to encourage low level thinking. Okay. And people come to me and they're like, hey, some low level thinking going on in your room. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I try to stamp it out when it comes in. And now here we are. Grant made a comment. Okay. So why did Divine attack Grant? Okay.
I
Why did
didn't attack
no no
him.
no no no
I
no wait, 1 second, Divine? Because if I
Well, you're
attacked
saying
you,
that
you
I
attacked Grant.
attacked
No,
him.
1 second,
That
bro.
wasn't an attack.
Well, no, let me finish. Let me finish. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm going to finish. Because if I attacked Divine, then Divine attacked Grant. Because I did the same thing to Divine that Divine did to Grant. Okay, so that's how it works. So, you know, welcome to debate the fucking news.
But
Okay,
then you question Mickey for jumping in when you jumped in
no,
yourself.
no, no. Mickey came in after me.
No,
That's what
he
I'm
Okay,
went on a
saying. But
okay,
but
diatribe
you
whatever,
question
whatever.
he
her
was
jumping
like, I'm
in.
surprised somebody would, and to be quite perfectly honest, Jonathan, based on what you said, if I met Grant, knowing that I've argued with him, I'm going to be polite. I'm going to respect his position and his status because I know that I could always learn from Grant, regardless of how I might personally feel about how he presents himself on this app. Because I know that I don't know that man. I'm just hearing him banter or be a poo poo head. But you even putting out in the universe that one of the only reasons to meet somebody in a position of power is because it might change your life. That's that tacky, non bougie shit. Because if
I,
I'm gonna no, let me finish.
no, 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 no.
Y'all
Because
have
I see.
way too
Here's the
many
thing. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm
expectations
gonna let you finish.
just
What
from
I'm
somebody's
gonna let you
damn
1 second.
haircut.
Hold
Hear
on,
1 second.
Mickey.
me.
Hold on.
It is
1 second.
tacky
Sing it
as
down, baby.
hell.
Boom. There you go. All right. And then I probably look. I'm gonna let you
No,
finish,
not
but
you
don't
not
I
letting me
tried
don't.
to
finish.
tell
I'm gonna let
her.
you finish, but
Really?
don't. I'm gonna let you finish, but don't ever. Okay, tell me to let you finish. Okay, because once again, I'm gonna that's why I do this.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, I know. Oh
Speak
my
in a
god.
British accent. Go on.
Okay.
It might
Oh,
help.
oh my god. But go ahead, finish. Go ahead, finish.
Say.
I
Or
think.
not.
I
Or
think.
not. Or not. Or
I
not.
think she's. I think she's loading
Okay, I don't care. Whatever.
Now
Or
y'all done
not.
moved me twice. If it happens
Oh,
again, you know how the fuck I
yeah,
am. Just
don't move.
goodbye.
Don't move her. Don't move her, guys. Don't move her. Don't move her. Okay. Do not move her. But go ahead.
No, the point that I was trying to make is, and right, I get it. Your reference was the hood because maybe that's an immediate reference for you. I'm not saying you came from the hood or you grew up there. The expectation that somebody, whether it's Grant or a child who wins an award or I don't care, an NFL team, is literally going to be around someone who holds that position and you think that it's somehow going to rub off on you. That's that shit that's like a lifetime movie. Oh, I met him and he was that stranger in the corner and he turned out to be the CEO of Grant All Your Wishes and then he gave me $10 million to start my company and now I'm going to do the same thing. Get the fuck over it. It's a
Oh
vision,
my
it's a
gosh.
time to shake somebody's hand. Why do people have this expectation that you should just jump at every opportunity because you need those opportunities? That ex Hegseth or anyone else is supposed to do something for you. That is tacky. Talk about low vibrational thinking. Just meet the man. Y'all are the people that take a picture with somebody and put that shit all on the internet. Look, I met Grant Cardone. Meanwhile, he don't even know your damn name. Ooh,
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
just
hell.
yeah.
so let me just say
Can I
something.
say something?
Go ahead, Grant.
Well,
Since
you
you started this shit.
the more people you can meet and
Ooh,
connect up with and get to know and spend time with, the better off you are. And if you get a chance to meet somebody in power, or I don't know why y'all think I'm not going to meet him because he wants to meet me. Well, like y'all think I'm just going for a photo op or something. All of you have completely ignored the possibility that I actually have a meeting with this man. Like, dude, if you're not in the room, you're not going to even be considered for anything. So get in the room. It's a Democrat room, a Republican room. If it's a room of influence, people you don't know, get in some rooms where you don't know people and they don't know you yet. You got a chance of getting them to know you and you to know them. You got a chance, and I believe Divine probably even regrets saying that. He didn't need to. He'd go there. If I called him up today and said, Divine, I'm gonna pick you up. We're gonna go to Charlotte and meet some great people. I bet you he'd be on the fucking plane.
If you told me you're going on the plane for sure, 650, he'd be like, come on.
Can I ask a question? Let,
no,
let me
one
just
second, one
ask
second, one second,
this
one
question.
second. I need to respond to that. You always want something from someone. No, what I said, I don't want anything from anyone.
Whose
Okay.
voice were you
Oh,
mimicking?
when what I was speaking to is the opportunity to meet him and secondly, okay, get to know him and possibly and the people that's around. Okay, because guess what? There's a bunch of people up and coming like you are way ahead of you, okay, that you can network with and grow with and learn with and do business with, okay, and do and you may be a solution. You may be the solution they're looking for. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry that even I feel. First of all, I'm gonna apologize to the people that's in here that's aware of what I'm saying and what Grant's saying because we're saying the same thing. I apologize that you guys have to sit here and listen to people defend. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Defend low level thinking, okay, and removing you from your opportunity,
These people are
okay.
losers, bro. We get it. They're losers, bro. Like it's the
Yeah,
dumbest thing I've ever heard in my
One of
so
life.
those
I
tacky ass
apologize
people
for that.
that
And
pitches
look,
all the
guys,
time. Ugh.
wait. I'm not trolling. I'm serious as hell right now. I'm serious as hell. Serious to the point where my shit's cracking, my voice cracking because I can't believe that people in this room. And later on, I'm going to have to defend this to a whole bunch of people later on when they talk about this room and they talk about how someone talk about how when Grant talked about this right here, and they like, oh, I wouldn't meet him, and how they defended that shit. Okay, you it's like it's crazy as hell that a high up government official that's in the line of succession, and you have an opportunity to meet them, and you're like, oh no, and the people that he brings around him, the people that come with him, and the people that flock there to be around him. You always talk about if I could ever get in the room, like Grant said, and you if I we're you guys remove yourselves from the fucking room.
Then
And then
why
you
is
Jonathan,
that
complain.
I
your
think you
Wait,
missed
problem?
the point. Hold on.
one second. You guys remove yourselves from the rooms at times, and then you guys complain about not being in the fucking room.
Oh, are you what you guys? Can you be more
Jonathan, I
specific?
think. Hold on.
What
Let,
you
Well,
let me come in
guys?
I'm
here.
talking about the people. I'm talking about the people that's in here right now
Talking
defending,
about all the people with
not
balls.
exactly. So,
Jonathan,
So
what do you?
defending Divine's choice, like, okay, let's be clear. I'm in the room.
Okay,
I'm in the room, and I
okay.
don't want to meet
Oh,
half
so you
these
don't want nobody
motherfuckers.
else to be in the room, then,
And
right?
I don't want to meet
You
half, and I don't want to deal with half these motherfuckers. I'm
okay?
in the room. I'm in the
Okay,
space.
but then
I have
but you
access to the space.
okay. You
And
have
if I
access
don't
to the
have
space.
to, I'm not going to be in any of their company.
Okay.
Period. So
Hmm.
I think
And that's
Divine
the
having a choice,
problem. And
Divine
that's the
having a choice,
problem.
Divine having a choice is Divine's choice.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna
That's
say
That's the
that
this.
that's
problem. I'm
that's
even,
Yeah,
that's
even, I would,
that's
I
what
would,
needs
y'all
no
won
no
tonight. Trust me,
that
Hey,
y'all
that's
won.
what need
Y'all
that's what
won.
needs
Y'all
to be
won.
respected.
Y'all
And
won.
all the people that want to come to you and say this, that, and the other about your space, they can all go to hell.
No,
Get
no,
off the
no,
mic and say it to
no.
the room.
and
Have
listen,
Jonathan,
have a
I'm
conversation with the
good.
room
I'm
and
Jonathan.
good
stuff.
with
At
someone.
the end
I'm
of the day,
I'm good
Divine,
with
he can think
Diane,
however
someone.
let
he
the man
wants.
finish.
I'm good with someone having that opinion that doesn't work for the government. But can you imagine having that sentiment of not wanting to be around other people to get things done, to bring solutions? You're already going in with that mentality that you're being attacked. Bullshit. You know why it's bullshit? Because what I said earlier just
Stop with
happened. Divine. Nobody
your
cussed at you. No one raised their voice. No one did anything but try to have a
that.
conversation, and you got here and started saying that you were attacked. How the hell were you
Is
attacked? And then you guys say that
said.
Jonathan was
That's not what I
attacking?
said.
And then
Oh,
you guys say that Jonathan was attacking? That's crazy. You guys, hell no. Nuts, nuts,
yeah.
nuts, nuts.
You just
Listen.
hold on. One
Let,
mic, one mic,
let,
one mic, one mic. She just twisted everything upside down and inside out. He said I attacked Grant, and I said I did not attack anyone.
That was way after you claimed you were attacked,
I never
Divine.
said I was
Way
attacked.
after.
And let's
You
be
said you
clear,
were
that's not what
attacked.
I said,
One
Diana.
mic,
Divine, you
So
did say you were
so
attacked.
keep your shit to
hold on,
yourself. That's
One,
not
one,
what
one
I
second.
said,
One,
Diana.
one second.
hold on.
Divine,
I
to be
never
clear,
said
you
I
said
was
you
attacked.
said Divine, to be clear, you said I was attacked. I said, oh, you were attacked. I said, okay, no problem. I said, you know what? I'm sorry. Since I attacked you, let me back it up. Okay, that's what I said.
I never said I was
um,
attacked. Other people said I was attacked. I never said that. And again,
Yes,
I
you
said
did.
what I hold
I
on.
jumped up when you said that.
Oh
Yes,
Yes,
you
you
did,
You ain't
Divine.
did.
have to
I
holler
responded
though.
to you saying that.
guys, can I
hold
can I
on. Can
ask
I
one?
land? Hold
Let
on.
me
Can I
ask a
land? Can
question.
I
No,
land?
somebody else said it, and Divine, and you said you weren't
Oh,
Well,
attacking
hell
Divine
him.
no.
said he
You
was
You
guys
attacked.
are
weren't
you
attacking
guys are
him,
Oh
and
my
fucking
God.
tripping.
Divine said, "But yes, you are." So he
Oh,
responded to
hell,
someone
dude,
saying it.
I heard him
Yeah,
say it.
Diana,
Okay.
take a seat. You didn't
Okay.
hear
Let me
shit.
just.
Stop
Okay.
I
it.
Can we
ain't
just
taking
take it
no
back?
seat.
All
I'm
right,
Okay.
all right,
driving the car.
Can I
She's
land real
standing
quick?
up. She's
I
standing
just
up
want
for
to
what
say
she
this
believes
real
in.
quick. Again, my
Yeah.
whole thing was, and I said it earlier, it's not about
Did you like
me.
that, Diane?
It's not about me meeting anybody. I said, Grant, I don't know how it would look to people who may support you with you surrounding yourself with someone like Hegseth. We know how Hegseth got his job. This man got his job because he's a Fox analyst and he's a Trump loyalist. And if that's something Grant wants to associate with himself with, cool. That's what Grant wants to do. I question like, are you sure you want to go meet with Hegseth? Because we know how the media is. That's who you want. And again, I said it again. Show me your friends. Show me who you associate yourself with, and I'll show you who you are. It's not about me. I'm not in politics. I'm in education. So I don't know why this shit is getting twisted upside down and inside out and crisscross. But let's just be clear. It's not about me. I land.
Yeah.
Can I say
Divine,
something?
I hear you. Hold on. Hold on. Let me
Go
quick
ahead,
take
Soji.
on
Go
that.
ahead.
I want to ask a question too. Divine, I do understand. I think what you just said, the last comment that you just said, defines everything. An educationist thinks in a different way. A businessman thinks in a different way. I mean, there is a very big difference between meeting somebody, depends on what capacity you're meeting that person, and the purpose of the meeting. Meeting on itself is not bad. It depends on why you are meeting that person. But I have a deeper question to ask Jonathan. I understand Jonathan, I understand your point, and I do respect it. The idea of socializing and developing contacts and building up your social pedigree as a businessman is very valid. But when you base that on power alone, my question is this. If Hitler supposed to be a president today living in Germany, would you, knowing his record, would you meet him?
We're not talking about Hitler, and so why do we have to go to the extremes? Listen to
No,
me, guys.
because
Wait.
you're saying power.
There are many
I
people
just
that
want you to like
wait.
kind
There's
of
many
explain yourself a little bit.
wait. There's many people of power and influence that I wouldn't meet with. Okay, now and because of who they are. Okay, but I said a government official that's in the direct line of succession for our presidency. Okay, so once again, I don't agree with his politics. Okay, I don't agree with his politics. But here's the thing: like like a lot of politicians, you guys see, like, all right, they go to dinner. Like, you guys are saying that you see the people that walk around here angry at these politicians are the populace. Okay, you may see, Hakeem Jeffries upset with this or that, but you also may see Hakeem Jeffrey in one of those private clubs talking to someone, really getting the real business done behind the scenes or whatever. or socializing, whatever. But you guys are walking around here mad and saying, "Hey, I'm going to give up my opportunity because I'm not supposed to like this person or like that person." It's the silliest thing in the world.
But
So
JB, why wouldn't
Yeah,
you meet
hold
Hitler?
on,
I'd meet him.
hold on.
Hold on, Sir Jude. I'll answer your question.
That's
Ask him one
Hakim's
too.
job. That's
Give me one sec. Oh,
Hakim's job.
always
I
divine, y'all. Can I
I
just
just
say,
I want to
Let
respond to
a lady
Jonathan.
go, asshole.
my God, just really quick. Thank you so much, Barth.
I
JB,
mean,
so to
what's Sir
you,
Jude's
so
question?
to you, the question is why wouldn't you meet Hitler? And Sir
he said,
Jude,
"I already know his
I hold
track
on,
record."
and Sir Jude, I
Okay,
would meet Hitler, and then I could tell
okay.
you why if you care. But
Oh my
that's my
goodness.
point.
Hold on, Diana. I don't want you to get in this. Let me say this, then you could have it. You see, Jonathan. You see, the point that I'm trying to make here, and you made the point, is um, Divine is making a moral argument. He's making a moral stand, and you have
No, he's
also.
not.
So hold on, please. Can you let me speak for God's sake? Okay, Jonathan said that he may not meet Hitler, okay, based on some certain criteria, which is what Divine is trying to say. In other words, Divine is taking a position of remonstration based on what this man, based on his own analysis of this man, what this man stands for. He's taking a moral stance and he's demonstrating against it that he may not want to meet him. I don't think it's a situation where, yeah,
So Joe, let me say something.
go ahead.
If Hitler was currently in power, yes, I would meet with him.
Bingo.
Okay, if he is currently in power, yes, I will meet with him because I will be able to talk to him and try to present a viewpoint that he may not have or he may not be aware of. Okay, so
So
it's totally different. But would I go socialize with him?
Y'all have people in the goo.
Would I go socialize with him? That's something totally different. Okay, but just to socialize with him, no. But once again, um, I would 100%, like I said, anyone that can affect a change, okay, especially a change that could possibly save lives or whatever. Yeah, why not have the conversation?
And why not
got
meet
it.
with him before so that he could you could have an opportunity? I'm sorry, Sir Jude. Were you going to keep going? Go for it. I'll wait.
No, I say got it. I just wanted Jonathan to explain that, to draw that
Yeah, but
dichotomy.
do
He
you
has done that.
understand that by you saying that Divine took the moral ground, you're suggesting at least that JB didn't? Do you understand that, Harvard?
Well, Jonathan did
You
change his mind to
you are
be to be
completely
to be fair.
out of the point. Sometimes
No,
you
I'm
no,
not
no.
out
sometimes
of
you
What?
the
don't know.
No,
point.
what he said is given what you know now. Okay, like all what you call it. Would I
No,
meet
I'm
with him?
talking about a different point,
No,
JB.
no. I'm talking about what Rochelle said.
Oh
Okay,
my
So
what?
God.
even
See,
back
What?
we're
then,
having like three
when he
conversations on
was
the
killing and
stage.
murdering
Hell
people,
no.
you would still meet with him. Okay.
Excuse me. Of course, because I would tell him to stop. Absolutely, I would try to implore him to stop. Absolutely, because he has the power. He has he has the power to kill millions more.
And I
And
would
if
get him
all else
before
fails,
to
we'll send you with this little bit of poison with you, just in case, you get close to a soda or something.
No, and then Jonathan, what I was saying was when Sir Jude was making the argument that you took whatever ground it was that you took the business route and that Divine took the moral route, that's suggesting to anyone that hears that you didn't take the moral ground. And to tie this to morality is crazy to me because I'm not even coming from the business aspect of it, I'm coming from the God aspect of it. And if you guys are sitting here saying that even Jesus met with who it was that he met for the opportunity to inspire change, do not call yourself a believer because it is science that you must first believe in order for you to be able to follow your destiny. And if you are a good person, the more people that you meet and want to build with, great. But I don't think that you have to sign up for that path, right? To be happy. In fact, sometimes the less people that I even interact with brings more peace and joy into my life, right? But do not sit here and make Jonathan or the fucking show seem any other kind of way than inspiring people who want to do good with having conversations move forward, okay? Enough of this bullshit. And I got to know one day how the hell it was that Divine you felt attacked because you damn right said it.
Well,
Yeah.
let me
Okay.
say this and align with
Oh
this.
shit!
Yeah.
Divine,
Talk
let me say
about
this and I
talk
land with this.
about emotional.
It,
No, emotional is what you did the last time you got pissed off with DTN because it wasn't exactly how it was that you wanted to see Jonathan as.
What?
Get the fuck out of here, okay?
Musa,
You can
Musa.
you
What
can
is
do
what is
both.
why
You
are you
could be a
crashing
business
out?
Musa.
person,
Oh
you could be
shit!
a business
What is
person,
your
you can have
problem right now?
morals,
You're
I
you
ain't
can
just
crashing
believe
done
in
out.
yet.
God,
Diana.
you
I
cannot be
wish
You
I
ended or
racist.
you
wish
want to
the
keep
chat
going?
was
Let it
open.
You could be all those things like
Y'all
Bing,
crazy.
okay? I'm tired of hearing this
It
shit,
ain't that
respectfully.
serious.
It may
crashing
not be
out.
serious for you, but
Wrong.
Bing, is this serious for
Coming
you?
at the wrong one here.
Get the fuck out of
Crashing
here.
out for no reason.
Yeah, but she's not wrong though, bro.
Korabashadabasu.
Well,
Yeah,
because
and this is why you don't just want to network with anybody
Did
because
Sir Drew
look
finish?
what can happen.
Just
well,
for clarification, Jesus did walk away. And he let people walk away from him, but it's clarification.
what he did say it
Thanks,
was
Jay.
sick, need a doctor because he did
But
Guys,
say
but
I
but
stepped away
but
for a second. I'm not quite sure where we're at here, but
yeah, me either.
listen, we need a little bit of a realignment.
this
Who's that?
shit's gotten out of
Now
hand.
God's into this.
I just want to say this, right? I just want to say this. You know, when you run a business, own a business, whatever you
Bring
do,
him in.
you, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
think we're getting some feedback. Go ahead, Jay. Thank you.
when you own a business, the whole perspective changes about who you network with. You talk to people because you want to expand your business, right? I've been invited to Davos for the last 3 years because politically I did not agree with them. However, I still stayed in contact with them. I mean, you got to open. I mean, it's different when you own a business. That's all
Okay,
I'm gonna say.
one mic, guys. One second. Hold on.
Opportunity. What would you want to change his mind about, Divine? Nothing. I probably would not be able to change his mind about anything. Well, you wouldn't be able to if you never meet him. Yeah, I'm good.
Or believed that you could.
Everybody's different. Like, I don't know why I'm being attacked for questioning you hanging out with Exa. I don't think it's more that it's preposterous that you're
This
throwing
is
out
not
an
an attack,
opportunity
though.
over me. Like, I can't even get a word in and you just gotta jump in. That's my opinion. I don't think it's a good look for Grant, the Grant that I know, to be hanging out with Keith Hexex or whatever his name is. I don't think it's a good look. That's my opinion.
So
Well, speaking of looks, what did you wear tonight,
well,
Grant? Did you look good, at least for the interview?
yeah. No, we're not doing that right now. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, so when people say that they didn't say that they were attacked, I just want to put that out there. All right. So, yeah, there it is. So
But you
once
did
again,
kind of attack him. You even said, I'm surprised that somebody who's a teacher or an educator would have this type. And then you called
that
it
that was
low
no, actually,
brow,
I
low
didn't say that.
vibrational. You said you'd have to defend it when
Well,
people would call you and tell you about the low.
Wasn't
one
You
that
second.
did attack
after?
him. No, it was all the duration.
Okay.
That's why you had to
It was
apologize.
still said.
Okay.
Yeah, it was still said.
Yeah, yeah, you guys are right. You guys are
No,
right.
Jonathan,
No,
they're
no.
wrong.
No. Listen to me. I'm tired of the bullshit. You guys are right. I can't argue with ignorance. Okay, because here's the thing. I'll play around with the politics. I play around all that other stuff. But when we got real people in here that come in here and they see real business people in here, and then all of a sudden we have people telling those people like, "Hey, stay away. Don't you shouldn't go," and telling them, without giving any more context, like, "Oh no, you don't meet people." Okay, I take offense to that. Okay, because I know how I know how important it was for me to meet people and people to meet me. Okay, I know. So I know how important that is, and how important it was. So when I sit here and I hear people arguing back and forth because someone is going to meet someone, and then we got people doubling down and triple down on it and making people out to be the bad guy or the bad people bad because they have a difference of opinion. Okay, and in fact, I said, you know what? I'm going to mute up because I don't want to say anything because I have that recording as well. I said I'm going to meet up. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to like seem like I'm talking about your career or anything like that. I know exactly what I said because I think about the shit as I'm saying it. Okay, and I play it back in my head. So I know exactly what I said, and so I didn't say that, Miki. I stopped. I said for a school teacher to say that. I said, you know what?
No,
I'm
you
not
did
gonna.
say it. That's how I know it because I didn't know he was a teacher
Okay,
before you said
okay.
that. Actually,
1 second. I just said, and then I said, oh, nope, I'm gonna stop because I'm not gonna bring up because I don't want it seems like I'm
but you know,
criticizing.
if you
What?
apologize, you
Can,
shouldn't have an attitude afterwards. What's going on? It wasn't a genuine apology?
1 second. No, I don't have no apology. What actually my thing isn't with Divine right now. It's with the ignorance that came afterwards, where people jumped in and defended not taking the opportunity to meet people. Listen to me, guys. I'm gonna tell you this right here. If you're going to get out, if you want to make it outside your income bracket, don't hang with people in the income bracket. Okay, unless they're trying to do the same thing, because you guys are going to have to start dealing higher net worth people, okay, to get to where you want. You're not going to do it by yourself. You're not going to do it not broadening your mind, okay? It's crazy. So I'm sitting here, and that's why people go to these events. That's why they go to these functions. Someone said, "Oh, you want to go meet someone?" And said, "Oh, I can get something." Hey, people go to these events, whether it's Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, wherever it go. They go all these different events to meet just for this, to meet like-minded people. Okay, so that they can improve their network and so they can grow their network. Okay, and in turn grow their network. And to have these conversations because what people don't think you guys like, oh, we winning this argument. Oh, we're gonna go against Jonathan. Oh, we're gonna win this one. But the audience, there's some people in the audience that really like, oh, I like how she talks. Or I like, this is that really is going to listen to you, and it's going to affect their life because they're little small things, little small bits. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, wow, I'm gonna meet this because I'm not gonna meet that person. They're going to adopt that. Hell, we did a poll, and the poll was pretty close because people are like, because people don't know. Okay, but yet y'all claiming that you're already there. I'm already in the circle. If you're there, then great, you're there. Then let someone else get there as well, and let them decide for themselves once they're there. But don't tell them not to be there. Don't tell them not to be there.
Did
That's
any of
all.
that happen, or are you just making the shit up in your head? Like Divine had an opportunity to have a conversation with
No, Mickey, what
Grant,
the fuck did I make up in my head,
and I
Mickey?
thought they. Well,
Mickey, what
now
the
you're
fuck did
like
I make up in my head,
people
Mickey?
are listening in this room and
No,
taking
Mickey, what the fuck
direction
did I make up
because
in
of
my
a
head? Because everything I
conversation.
spoke to,
So now we
everything I
ruined
said,
somebody's life because
you
we
said,
expressed
or
an
Rochelle
opinion.
said.
What?
Everything I said, you said, or Rochelle said.
It
So
is a
what am I making up?
conversation. Now we're directing people's lives because of a conversation.
No, don't mute her,
Huh?
please. Don't mute her. Don't mute her, please.
What in the world is going on? See, this is why people just blow up in conjecture. This is so typically American. Literally running your blood pressure up because Grant and Divine had the conversation.
No
It
one's
was
running my
not
blood. Actually,
generic.
my blood pressure came up because you came on fucking mic. Divine and I
Oh
What
had
well,
do
an
then
you
I
mean
exchange,
have
it's
and that was
way,
it.
typical
way too
American?
much
You're
control
Okay.
American. I'm
over
so
you.
Okay.
confused.
I have
No,
way
no.
too much
Actually,
control over
it
you.
didn't go up, but I'm using your words. Okay. But once again, Divine and Grant and I talked. We said something, and boom, it was done. And then you jumped in and like,
Yes, a lot of people did because you did attack Divine, and I was just defending Divine's right to have his own opinion.
okay, okay,
I don't know him and Grant's relationship.
Divine. I'm so sorry I attacked you, Divine.
No, he's
This is.
not sorry.
They're
That's
right.
why
This
you
room is
gotta
becoming
keep it
bullshit.
down.
They're right.
Don't be blaming it on
They're
Like,
right.
is
Divine.
this the
They're right.
content for the night or what? Is there actually going to be a room? Because this is getting tired. Like all this
Then get the fuck
outwardly.
out.
Seriously,
Then get the fuck. Then take your fucking ass out of here, then, Mickey.
Jonathan. Every
Take your
time I
little
fucking
$5
leave,
ass out of here, then.
you come begging me to come back on the
I,
fucking
I,
app.
Mickey, I didn't beg. Mickey,
I
You
actually,
a
know.
Mickey,
goddamn fucking lie.
you're a
Oh,
goddamn
you
lie.
really? I
Mickey,
got
don't go
Mickey,
screenshots,
nowhere.
nigga. I
Mickey,
got
Mickey,
screenshots, nigga. You really want to
Mickey,
fucking go
Mickey,
there?
what
Tell him,
invited you back? It
Rachel.
was an automatic
Like
invite.
what the
When you leave
fuck?
the
What do
group,
you mean an
when you leave the
automatic
group,
invite? I deleted my whole
uh,
shit on this app and it
go
had to
go
be
do it. Go do
redone.
it. Go do it. Go do it.
Oh, really, nigga? You want me
No.
to do it?
Yes.
Mickey,
Yes.
relax.
Yes.
Learn to
Yeah.
yield.
Yes. Yes.
Yield. Mickey, learn to yield a little.
Yes. Do it, Mickey. Yes.
Bye,
No,
bitch.
no, no. Mickey, don't go anywhere. Don't we all yield to B. Yeah, chill.
For me, this is about Divine being able to have his own position on whether or not he would want to meet certain people based on whatever it is that he knows. Not about, oh, that's a person of power. You can go into that space and you can network, or you can go in that space and you can say something to them that will change your minds about who they have presented themselves to be. It's about him having a choice. I don't think it's anything idiotic or anything low vibrational for a person deciding, I'm good. I'm good.
But
Because
why?
that's a personal choice. That's a personal choice. If that person not meeting a certain individual or being in a certain space because they choose to not do so, will allow their business to not grow exponentially, then it is what it is. That's a choice that person is making. So everyone has the actual choice. Now, I don't agree with Divine telling Grant that he shouldn't have been in the space or meeting with Hexet because that's Grant's world. Those are his people. So that is what it is. But I also don't agree with Divine being castigated for basically having the position that that's not something he would do either. And to
Actually, I
all
didn't.
y'all crybabies that run back and forth, texting and talking to Jonathan, all y'all come off the mic and say what the hell you need to say and stop being
Yeah.
bitches.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Oh,
let's chill out with the fucking the names. Let me just say this right here. I actually spoke. I didn't speak to Divine. I spoke to Divine. I didn't speak about Divine. I spoke about him telling someone not to be in the room. Okay, that's what I spoke to. What Divine decided to do is what he decides to do. That's his personal choice. But when we got a room here full of people, and he put that out there, okay, I'm going to push back every time. And it's crazy that we're here having this discussion because, I know I gave the correct information. I don't care what you say. Okay, I know I gave the correct information. People can change their mind later. They can whatever do what I said later on. I know I gave the correct information. If you get an opportunity to get into the room, get into the room. Okay. All right. So people try to get invites to all these different events and functions all the time because they want to be a part of the room. They want to get in there, be part of the conversation, get to meet people, shake hands. Okay. Exchange numbers, all this other shit. It's crazy that it's become such a shit show that when you say something right, okay, because I challenged him. I didn't come out, I ain't you asshole, just said that. It wasn't even like that. It wasn't even that kind of energy when I spoke with Divine. I was like, wow, really? And then I said, you know what? I'm going to back it. I'm going to back it back. When I started saying, as a teacher, I was surprised, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to even say that. But once again, and then Miki came off mic with her negative ass energy. So it is what it is. I'm not here to what you call it, play games or whatever. And I'm just at this point in time, me telling people to go out and grow their network. I'm never going to back away from that. So and oh, you just made this shit up in your head. No, 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 you fucking said it.
But Jonathan, if it's a debate and there are opposing views, so
I
you're
don't mind
saying
it.
that it's okay for you to say that, but you don't have to acknowledge or respect Divine's viewpoint. Is that what you're saying?
No, I wait once again. Divine had an opportunity to come back and speak to me like we do all the time. Divine, I've done this for years, going on 4 years. Okay, Miki jumped in. Okay, and she wanted to like lock it down and say that I didn't have a perspective. Okay, this is not me arguing about whatever. So and Miki and I when I disagree with me with what Divine said, and when Miki jumped in, I definitely disagree with what she said, and I had to actually reference Divine's perspective as well to effectively combat what she said. So that's what blew this. That's what made us talk. And the fact that we're even talking about this, I feel dirty. I feel poor. I mean, I feel dirty that I even had to have this kind of conversation. Okay, where we have to defend networking with people of prominence.
But see, I don't think that's what was happening. I think that that was at discussion was is people choosing to want to network with certain individuals, whether they're in power or not. I think that's more of what the conversation is about, as opposed to this is a person of power in proximity, have people around him, so you should automatically want to be in that space. Well, some people don't have that position, Jonathan. They
You're
just
absolutely
don't.
right. You're absolutely
And I
right.
think and I think that's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you're absolutely correct, and I think that's okay too. I don't like it, but here's the thing: this is debate the news. I'm not gonna have someone sit here in front of and Grant and tell Grant in front of everyone in this room, okay, people that come to respect the voices in this room, that they should avoid going into spaces just because they disagree with the politics. If they want to for their own reasons, fine, then do so. But to have someone in this room tell someone that, okay, tell the room that, I'm gonna. It's my duty and obligation to always put a stop to that and give a different perspective.
No, I mean I agree with you with defending that position because I mean I wouldn't tell Grant to not meet because that's his world. So I think that that was wrong and stuff. But also
He wasn't
again,
wrong. But he wasn't wrong.
he has a right to
He
decide
had
who he wants to
exactly.
meet with or not as
No,
well.
no,
So
but Divine wasn't wrong. The wrong part came in when I pushed back. That's when everyone said the wrong part came in because I didn't have a right to push back. And that's the whole thing. Freedom of
well,
speech.
no, I think with your pushback, it was basically one sided. It wasn't acknowledging
That's usually what pushback is.
that people have the right, like I did, that he has the right if he doesn't want to meet with them, that he doesn't really have to want to meet with them. That's one thing. But saying that it's low vibrational conversation, whatever other
It
language
is
you
low
use and
vibrational
stuff,
conversation.
it's not because
100%.
Divine has his
No, 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 no,
position. So
no. No,
what's
no,
low
not divine.
vibrational
Not
about
divine.
Divine?
Not divine. I'm talking
What's low
about Mickey's
vibrational about
response.
Divine?
Mickey's response was very low vibrational. Okay, it was.
I don't even remember what her response was, honestly. What was it?
So
I can understand none of that
yeah, exactly.
because
So
you're mocking her.
well, no, I'm not mocking her. I'm
No, I'm
repeating them.
saying is, well, say the words that she said. I know you understood the
No,
language,
she was whining. That's the tone she used.
but did you? So you can understand the words coming out of her mouth in that tonation?
Rochelle, let me just say this right here.
I'm just saying.
Let me just say this. Look,
All that
uh,
vulgarity though, on both sides. There's no need for all that vulgarity. You can
it
get your
is.
point
It is right. You're
out of
right. You're
that's
right.
on both sides, man. My thing is that Grant has done enough shit on social audio and out there in the world to where if he meets with Pete Hegseth, that's just the lowest thing on the totem pole. I mean, I wouldn't even know why we even question that. He's supposed to go meet with the defense secretary. That's his party. That's his world. He supports the administration. I don't see why that's an issue. If I don't want to meet
Exactly.
with him, then let that be me that don't want to meet with him. But the issue is that got to give Diana credit because she brought up Christ earlier, and when Christ was questioned why he was hanging out with certain individuals, Christ said it's the sick who need a doctor. So are we Christians or are we playing Christian? So we need to understand what we are. What are we?
Mm, I just understand what
I
they
feel
have to
like,
do with
well,
you.
and Carlos, and Carlos, thank you for that. And I was going to jump in when I heard you jump in the last time, but then the room got really crazy. Even if Grant was doing it for political reasons, right? You, as a constituent, removing all your partisan aside, you have an opportunity to speak with someone in a position to do something. Why wouldn't you trust yourself to be able to have a great conversation? And I come from the education side as well. And I think that when you open people's minds to believe that they can trust themselves, if not the education that they've been given, but the spirit that they've incarnated, well, then, go for it. And if that means that you want to live a great big life because you somehow connect business and the American dream to changing the lives of those who you wish to impact, great. Or if you want to go and live on the mountain somewhere by yourself and animals, then that's your choice too. But I think it's insane to feel like you can make another person feel a certain type of way about their journey. And then just because you're asked questions, throw it back around and say you've been attacked respectfully. That's a room we're going to have soon. This was wild to witness in so many different ways, but just even scientifically, you guys, understanding that your whole system of belief is grounded in your consciousness. So I don't know, man. I come and I troll and we have fun. And listen, JB, I'm going to try to convince you to make this into like some social audio big brother type of thing where you're recording 24/7. Imagine that. That's pretty cool because tomorrow we're all going to be here again. And Divine, I hope that at least from me, this is not about business, man. And you've shot at me plenty of times, so we keep it like that, right? I want you to believe that you could have been over there with the Pete, whoever headset and trusted that you could have communicated what you want for those children that you educate. Even if you shake like I do sometimes when I find myself in those positions. That's all. Thank you. MAGA night didn't turn out so bad.
We appreciate you, Diana. Thank you.
Is Divine even here anymore? It looks like he's gone.
Grant's gone and Divine's gone.
Yeah, we love Divine, and I get Divine's point, and I think Jonathan was just saying in a broader context, don't just throw away a potential opportunity because you don't agree with someone's politics or because some people might throw shade at you for being around that person.
And maybe not judge their moral compass and feel like they're not Christian or they're not black or they're not whatever it is that the label feels because Jonathan, damn. I mean, almost 5 years, you've been called every name in the book, man. And I think it's
I wonder which was his
purposeful.
favorite.
I know, right? And you gotta hand it to them, right? And Grant too, to people that we see. Okay, so they like to show their physical life in the digital world and following the dreams that they're following, but you gotta root for them, right? Grant, Nelson, Jonathan, they've shared really big visions with people. And while we're over here doing whatever the heck it is that we do behind the screen, we're like watching them do their thing, right? So back to you, Bean, or whoever wants to take it.
I'm just saying this right here, guys. Listen, I like this. That my whole thing is this right here. Let's 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 not tell people not to strive for greatness. Grant's like, hey, I'm meeting with this person. You know, if Grant was to say, hey, you want to come meet Pete Hegseth Thursday? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? If he said, yeah, you want to meet President Trump on Thursday? Absolutely. Why not? Why wouldn't I? Okay, it's just like people. This is even more so. I'm going to be polite. I'm going to try to develop a relationship with the staff. I'm going to try to develop a relationship with the other professionals. And try to get someone's ear. And that's just the way it is. And I'll be more help, having someone air. Maybe the person I meet may not be, maybe a lowly whatever, but the way this administration moves in 120 days, this person may have moved up somewhere because people always get constantly fired and replaced, whatever. But this is guys, this is chess. Okay, this is not checkers. All right. A lot of people, and the reason I was a little surprised by Divine, I wish he came back. I guess he was attacked, so he left. But anyway, the reason I was a little surprised by him is because it's so, and you guys may not see the what you call it, the similarities, but to me, I made it akin to the stop snitch, don't snitch. Don't, oh, you're not real if you go see Pete Hefseth. You're not real if you talk to the police. Whatever. These little things that people say to people, and it put mental roadblocks for people in this room. Like, oh, well, if I ever get the opportunity, I'm not gonna do that because I won't seem like I'm real. I just hate when people put obstacles, mental obstacles, in people's path. And to you guys, it doesn't seem that way because you might him saying that doesn't affect me. Yeah, it does. It's a little guys. I remember little things that people said to me when I was 6 years old. I remember the things that a teacher said that was inspiring when I was in first grade, second grade. I remember things that was hurtful when I was in third grade.
Mm.
All right. So the little fucking things, little things. And that teacher's probably dead, rotting in the grave, probably ate the wormed up and everything else, stiff as hell. All right. But I still remember what that person said to me. And that's why I'm very careful. We kid around and everything, laugh. That's why I went Cliff did his little thing tonight. Picked up the phone, gave him a call, like, yo, now I wanted to say you fucking idiot. The fuck's wrong with you? Blah blah blah. But I had to be a little more tactful. Like, hey, just be careful. Don't do that. I advise you don't do that in the digital world or the real world because either you can wind up hurting someone or someone wind up hurting you. That's I wanted to say, yo, you idiot, don't ever come back. Don't ever freaking come back here again. But that's not the time to have that conversation. To send him more off the edge, to send him out there while he's already out there, strapped and loaded to go find more trouble. You get people, words are powerful. All right. And you guys should know that. That's why you guys are also, all of us are here. Some of us have been here for 5 years now. Words are powerful. And that's what you guys are hearing, our voice, our words. So, I mean, we got video here as well now, but it's very powerful. I'll end with that.
Sound like a lot going on tonight.
Y'all are wild. That's all I got to say.
I'm glad I missed it all. Damn it, I'm always missing shit.
Yeah, listen, I think it's time for round two. We've got a whole new show, JB. Let's get the party started. What do you guys think? Nice to see you, Storm. D. Exactly.
What
No,
up,
it's been a hell of a
though?
night.
I can hear. I hear it's almost like a summary right now, you know? What a party yet. What a party yet.
Yeah, sounds like everyone could use a drink. It's Memorial Day weekend. Let's have fun.
Let's go. I think Jonathan's going to go hang out with his bees for a little bit, relax, come back, get some honey. Let's go for round two.
I had a buddy
No,
drop off some non-alcoholic beer, so I could crack open a
A root
alcohol-free
as
Samuel
as in
Adams.
root beer.
No, it's Samuel Adams. It's actually pretty good.
I got
Pretty
my
good. Then what's that
chicken
do
wings and
then?
lamb chops, man. That's all I need.
Hey, tomorrow's day 100, y'all. I'm glad I made it this far.
I have ice cream bites. But congratulations. 100 days alcohol free, hey?
That's right.
Well,
Good for
I
you.
have a comment.
Hi, Allie. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
You
First, you have to
know,
tell us how long you've been here so we know what context is.
I have heard probably 90% of everything for the last 3 hours.
Okay, got it.
Damn.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Allie.
I'm really. It's this point. I want to just speak to one point. Because it's like, okay, so if we're making a stand for don't refuse the level up just because you don't like the person, right? Whoever's saying that and in that camp, I think you should be
That's
not
not
one
what
of
was
the.
said.
What's
But
that?
go ahead. That's not what was said, but go ahead.
Hmm.
Okay, well then forget my point. I thought that where you tell me how I'm off. Wasn't it not like, hey, you know, don't miss on the opportunity. If you can level up and have opportunity, don't miss out on it. Is that not the general message?
Allie, it's don't tell other people to do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Storm.
You're welcome. And I've only been here 10 minutes, JB.
I did start loading groceries. You're saying, okay, so the big point then is
Don't blow
I'm
out other
not going to
people's
tell you not
candles.
to go meet with somebody. That doesn't
right,
make any sense.
right,
And
but
don't
that's
tell
the
people it's
opposing
not a good look for
viewpoint
you
to
if you
what
go
I
meet with somebody else. Don't tell somebody what they should and shouldn't do.
right, but the opposing viewpoint, I thought that was the kind of the point that Divine was making is, hey, don't associate with this person. I wouldn't, or whatever. And then JB came in and said, hey, don't say don't do it. And then I know meeting people and connections is good. And so I really thought I heard this theme around, like, I heard what you said, Storm, but I was referencing not what Divine said, which is your point. I was referencing what I thought Jonathan was speaking to and other people.
Actually, Storm just said my point perfectly. What are you talking about? I was coming off mic to say exactly what Storm just said.
Man, y'all gonna make me delete this app.
Delete it, Carlos. Go. I
Carlos.
dare you. I
Yeah,
double dare you.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell she's listening to because I know what I said.
Okay, so then I'll just mute up because the point, nobody was making the point that don't turn your head away from it if there's an opportunity to level up just because you
No,
don't like the person.
no,
That's okay.
nope. Don't tell people not to take opportunities. Okay.
That's what I just said pretty much.
Oh my God. No, you didn't. You said something totally different, but that's fine. You're.
Okay, so let me use your exact
No, no,
words.
no, 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 Ali. Ali, I'm done with it.
Okay, yeah, I'll just shut the fuck up for another 6 hours.
Go ahead, you do that because that's not what I told you to do. Obviously we're misfiring, and I'm bright enough to see that.
Dan, that this need to be a reality show. You right, you spot on.
You're addicted to us, Carlos. You can't delete the app.
I think he's definitely addicted to
Is that
meeting
that
me
crazy part?
verbally out loud.
It's gonna rub off on me being in this room.
I think worst part is the chat is not working, man. We all wanted to say some, like, so much and we couldn't, you know.
Ron,
Ravi, do you have your popcorn?
I did, and it was almost done, man. It was a good conversation.
I know
Yeah.
Learned a
we're
lot.
forced to stare at our profile pics. It's really crappy, man. God, I would love seeing the chat. I know, Jonathan. You tried.
Nah, bro. No, Joseph, you wanna handle some of this? I don't. It is a weird. It's a weird evening this evening.
Yeah, there's been a lot of tension tonight for a lot of different things. I think everyone is a little, I don't know, stressed out. Everyone needs a drink, whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic. Why don't we talk about what
I'm
we
doing just fine, thank you.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, Jonathan, if you did have the chance to meet with Trump, what would you say? Like, what would you want to discuss with him?
Follow Debate the News and download some episodes.
Yeah, definitely that. Um,
Fuck Trump podcast.
I what
That's what he said.
I wouldn't. What I would do is I would ask, just can he explain to me, what is he what is he what is he trying to accomplish? What's his goals? I see someone like him. I just want to just can you explain to me? I'm not gonna go in there and say, hey, you should do this, you should do that. Okay, I'm gonna flatter you, and I'm saying so. What are you looking to accomplish? What are you hoping to accomplish with this and that? And I'm gonna listen to what he says. Okay, and and seeing I'm gonna appear receptive, and then I'm gonna be gracious with my responses, gratuitous with my praise, but I'm also going to say, "What did you consider this?" That the people may see it as this, while being gratuitous with my praise, because that's how you deal with someone like President Trump. Okay, to try to that I would try to get an understanding. Let him say it aloud to me what he want to accomplish. That way, him saying aloud to hear him say it and explain it, make him think about it as he's saying it. When people are asked to repeat or to say what they're trying to accomplish, sometimes they may say it aloud. It hits differently for them. All right, and then I'm not gonna be critical. Like, I'm not gonna say have you lost your fucking mind. I'm not gonna say that. I'm like, oh wow, that's very interesting. See it. You thought that through. Then that may very well work because I can see where you're coming from. Oh my god, that's brilliant. That's it. But did you consider what if the people were to, and I will give my critique as to what if the people. That's just how I would handle someone like that. Okay, I'm not gonna go in there and challenge him because I'm not gonna get anything done. I'll the first 30 seconds, 20 seconds, he'll put his hands together, up and down, look forward, look straight ahead, and tune me out for the rest of the night. Okay. So somebody, yeah. Hopefully that answered your question. Um, what do you think about that answer?
Well, I think being gratuitous with praise is a good approach. Certainly, I think the Europeans leaders, as they've come one by one, they've kind of learned that. But I, I mean, he's the type of person that needs pushback. I mean, just for example, the South African president, and he kept on repeating that there was a genocide, and then he showed film. He even had that South African president had the white South African agriculture chair, whatever they're called, Secretary of Agriculture, who explained to Trump what he was saying was not true. And he just doubles down, and I don't know. I'm very curious. I don't know how to deal with this man. I don't have an answer, but I do think starting with the praise and getting him open to listen is a good start, because I notice how when the reporters are aggressive and go straight to, how are you going to accept this $400 million plane? When you approach him that way, he immediately has a ad hominem, and he attacks the person and says the network is like he says the same thing. So people have been unable to push back on him successfully. And I just want to know how someone might be able to do it. And I think you're starting in the right place, but I don't know. Just listening to what he wants to accomplish would be sufficient. I don't know if that would save us. Maybe I'm looking for too much.
No, I think that's a good point. But also, if you're trying to influence or get in with someone who is powerful, you need to build a relationship. And you're not going to build a mutually respectful relationship by coming out of the gate with just criticism, criticism, criticism.
Absolutely, Joseph. I couldn't agree more, nor could I agree with Jonathan anymore because, and I mean that in a positive way. But I find what worked best for me. I know Donald Trump. I know Donald Trump for 20 years. Okay. I worked with him. I did his hair a million times at Fox News, talk shit with him. And him and all of those people, all the judges, all the politicians, all the celebrities, all these people in power, and I'm using finger quotes. I think the best way to um, connect with them is to first observe, is to just observe how they are, because you have to remember these people are so calculated. They have, they have PR agents, they have all kind of people that you wouldn't even believe. The executive assistant has an assistant. Everybody's trying to keep everything in line. They don't really put their cards on the table. I wouldn't even ask questions. I just watch and observe, and then built relationships that way. I think observing would be the best place to start. Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly, Sheree. And then when the foundation of those relationships is there, I think that's where those productive conversations can happen.
Okay. I like that. But I don't know about you guys, but I feel desperate. Like, I don't know if we have time to observe and build a relationship with Donald Trump. Like, so many of our institutions are being dismantled, and people are going to suffer. I don't know if their suffering will help them, quote unquote, see the light, because it doesn't seem like it. It seems like no matter what he says or does, people who support him are going to support him, even if, I don't want to go give an extreme example, but so far there's been nothing. I'll give the example that he gave, that he can shoot someone in broad daylight on Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose a single voter. And I believe him. So I love that. I love, giving him praise, listening, building relationship. Do we have time? Like, will democracy survive if do we have time for that? That's my question.
Yeah, I feel you, Maya. And, I even say, and I feel defeatist saying this. I will say, I've said it to, I had this conversation with Rachel. I said, I feel a little helpless. I almost feel embarrassed saying it. I do feel helpless, but at the same time, I am not actively doing anything to make any changes in government, and I probably should. But like I said, I forget the word they used Maya. It wasn't it wasn't helpless, but I admit that I feel helpless sometimes. But I'm not actively doing anything to make change. So
I mean, I'm right there with you. I went to the first protest way back in February. I think it was President's Day, not my president. And I could count the black people on two hands. So I was like, okay, we're sticking to our guns. We're not going to be out there. So I've done a lot of things in the past. I knocked on doors. I drove to Pennsylvania. I worked on the campaign. So I feel you, Sheree. I'm like, what should I be doing to help save democracy? Because I feel desperate and helpless, learned helplessness. I feel, it makes me sad that educated people who seem to, have critical thinking skills and have families who are impacted, who are less than 6 degrees of separation from some of the harm. I mean, I think all of us are harmed by tariffs because we're going to pay 30% more for goods and services or whatever, that's going to have that impact that'll have. But that's not changing. That's not changing the force. It doesn't feel like any of those things are having an impact. So I feel like I know some of the scholars on tyranny and authoritarianism and professors at Harvard and Yale and Princeton have left. They're gone already. They've accepted positions at University of Ontario or University of Toronto. I'm not sure, but there's a particular university in Canada that I think at least Timothy Snyder has left. And I personally know people who are already gone. And some of them are like the smartest people that I know. And I'm like, damn, did I miss the boat? I've been on this app and people have said, make your plans, get your shit together. Like, I didn't think I'd be alive for this. So I'm right there with you.
Is the end of the world coming? Is it just a general statement?
No, I
Question.
just think
I
it's
was going
the
to ask
end
the
of
same thing, Jay.
democracy. It's the end of democracy. I feel like, you know, the rights, I think a lot of us are in America and we have this notion of American exceptionalism. And this is America and we're great and we can't fail. Democracy has been around. It will be 250 years. And people just think it won't happen. We are literally surviving on the broken leg of the third branch of government, the judicial, which is breaking down. We had a 9-0 ruling that Trump has ignored. And there's a small piece of the big, beautiful bill that passed in the House and is waiting to be passed in the Senate that would disallow federal judges from enacting, what is it called when you violate a judge's order? I forgot the term. Anyway, it's over 1,000 pages. I don't know.
Contempt.
Thank
Contempt.
you. Thank you. There's a small piece in the big, beautiful bill that will disallow a federal judge from enforcing contempt, which gives them some power to say, if you don't follow my order, there are consequences. So once there are no, and there already are no consequences for the executive, for the head executive, we had the Supreme Court who made that decision. But if the administrators in the Trump administration have no consequences, for example, not turning around the plane or just, you know, messing with or ignoring the authority of the judicial branch, that's it. That's a wrap on the life that we've all enjoyed. And everybody's just like, boop, boop, Trump is great, Trump's great, everything's fine, everything's going. It's not normal. Like the things that are happening, it's not every day. And I understand people voted for Trump, they wanted change. But did you want to break the system? Like I don't even know that we will have another election. So no, the world is not ending, but the United States as a democracy could end. That is possible.
Right. So in between that, as an everyday person, how do you move? You know, so I get what you're saying, but like, what is it? Do you live in fear? Not you in general, but do you live in fear? How do you move forward? I was looking at moving forward. So what do you? And then this, like, that's just a general question, right? Like, this stuff is going on. We know this, but life is still going on. How do you proceed to move forward?
Trust me, I have children. I know life is going on.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not singling you out either. I'm not. That's not.
Oh,
That's in general. I'm not
A
trying to single you out.
fabulous question. I'm listening in the background, and that was a great, great question for me because it ties back into some of the heated conversations and exchanges that we've had today. And regardless, right? Regardless if you're looking to, what do they say, think big, grow big, and have this big, beautiful life or big, beautiful bill or whatever the great big thing that you want to see, or you want to just live your life small. And that means peaceful and doing, you know what I mean, Jay? So, regardless of those two extremes, the very same thing is what just got brought to the table. So, if we're going to go to those, to that type of sentiment, then how are you handling this as an individual? We saw earlier that some people want to build big businesses because they believe they can impact that way. Other people want to inspire younger generations because I hope I see Divine tomorrow so I can tell him again all the great things that I said today about him because I do feel that way. Educating the youth to believing they can do anything they want to do is important to me, especially because of my journey with my daughter. It's something I'm very passionate about. On the government side, I remember doing nothing more than working very, very hard as a young person in government for assembly members. And I got to tell you, if I had a choice, I would choose people who do not say things because they don't want one party to succeed or one candidate to move forward. I think it's nuts. That's why I'm with the people 100% of the time. That's why a third of America probably doesn't vote because that's the number of people so far. And it went down this year or this last election. So I'm sorry, you guys, but I think that's a great question, Jay. How do you choose to navigate through that extreme?
I'll be honest with you. I just keep on creating opportunity on whatever that may be. And like I said this before, I think COVID was a real test because COVID was unexpected. We knew this was coming, right? So with COVID, I'm talking from a business perspective. COVID was unexpected, and the way I look at it was, if I survived and during my business found how to pivot, find needs, how to move forward, and keep going. This is what we knew was coming. So what do you do? Well, how am I doing this? I mean, I'm just keep on creating different opportunities, and where I need to pivot, I need to pivot. Make sure my son is good. Make sure my daughters are older now, but just pivot. Just keep moving forward. And I'll be honest with you, like the biggest when it comes to politics, my politics has always been in the middle, and I guess that's I'm able to float in different circles, many circles, without being affected by different perspective, people's perspectives or point of views. But again, my thing is just to pivot where I need to pivot and just continue to do business as normal.
Very cool. Anybody else?
Yeah, Diana, you touched on educating our kids, and it's just so important. I I see a lot of people who, and you guys know I don't argue politics, and I don't argue or feel I ever have to prove myself and my views. However, I feel it's really important to educate our kids in this sense. I feel without keeping a party in mind, you guys, I feel that there's a certain amount of worship and clout chasing and celebrity that's people see in Donald Trump more than they see, who he is, his policies, and what he plans to do for us as a country. And I think we could start, but I think a great thing for all of us to do are to teach our children and the younger generation that just because someone's popular, just because someone has a TV show, or just because someone's an athlete or an actress, they're not necessarily a role model. And also, and then on the other side of that coin is that we expect so much out of these people just because, maybe because they're wealthy, maybe because they play basketball really well. And it's it, we're part of the problem because we put so much on these people who aren't necessarily obligated to be a role model or to be a good person. It would be great if it were that way, but it's just not.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great point, sir. Oh, go ahead.
that's a no. I said that's a real good perspective. Another thing I want to add to, like, and it was instilled with me at a younger age, is um, adapt and overcome. And I do believe. I mean, I looked at the bill. There's some things on there I'm not in favor with. However, I'm looking at things what can benefit me, right? I look at things what can benefit my grandmother, and again, making decisions from there. If it can't benefit her, what options are we making? To what options? What can I help? Can I help my grandmother? How can I help my mother out in these positions that she can? Like, say if uh, the Medicare. I mean, my grandma's 90 years old. She's not going back to work. I think according to what I looked in the bill, I think she's gonna be fine, right? But if there was something that is not going to, something that is going to negatively affect her, I would have to make a pivot or figure out things how to help her out with that. But again, adapting and overcoming, adapting to what's at stake, what's at hand, as something you have no control over because it's too late because um, the masses when we voted, American people spoke. But overcoming is being able to, again, like I said before, pivot and continue to move forward. But I definitely agree, Shiv, as far as dealing with definitely educating your kids, and the lady spoke earlier, and as far as democracy, yeah, educating them on which ways to go and how we are running and how to maneuver through there. I definitely agree with that.
And most importantly, we need to be role models, and our friends need to be role models to our kids and people who we surround ourselves around. I guess that could kind of go back to the conversation or where things went awry with Divine and Jonathan. It's surrounding ourselves around people who we consider, and I'm not saying Seth at all is is this person or role model, but it would be really helpful if people just took on that you know mindset that we should be role models and have surround ourselves around role models for the youth, because shit is just going awry. I sound like such an old person saying that. These folks these days, like, I feel kind of old saying it, but there are a lot of things that are just out of control, and we're so overstimulated. But I'm not going to ramble on.
Sheree, when that happened earlier, I thought for totally different reasons. Um, I thought that Divine had said that to Grant because he didn't believe him. Because, a few nights ago, I don't know who was here, but they were saying that Grant wasn't really serious about running to be governor and all that stuff. And so I just thought it was that. And I thought that JB was coming off like to tell him, no, like you guys really don't, and it just turned left. Like I came from a totally different direction. And I'm sharing that because it's really interesting to me always how different we are all, just perceiving reality. And it's fascinating sometimes because one word can change, one tone can make a difference. And I think that, you call it arguing in politics, and I get it. Yet for me, coming to the realization that the people that we vote for to represent our best interests spend their time arguing with each other, sometimes even with themselves, because they're not firm in their belief system. They're kind of just either being bribed or not sure of themselves or trying to climb their own, whatever the bias is, because at the end of the day, the principality is real. We are all just doing our best with what it is that we have, which is why what Jay brings up for me is so important. But to stay on the business side, right? I think having these conversations is key. Earlier we had, we didn't even move forward with a show because there was like violence on here, right? Like that. And so for me, there's also the other side of these spaces where people can become incredibly motivated to jump into, you know, positions that can support maybe a vision that they have. So I'm not giving up on debating the news, or talking about politics, or even getting involved again. I was disheartened as a young child, I'm going to call myself, in the world of government. So I defend Trump solely because he's an American president, first and foremost. And I think we should defend when none of us have the right answer. And I do it because I give him massive credit for making politics something that we can talk about day in and day out. And how we choose to do that reflects more on us, right? Um, that's all I want to say right now. So it's crazy how we perceive reality so differently.
Yeah,
I
so
still think I said the same thing y'all said.
Allison, what's up?
I don't have anything else to say, but I really
Oh,
think
Sheree, did you want to finish up really quick? Sorry, Allie. I just saw Sheree on mic
No,
too.
no, no. I want to hear what Ali has to say.
Yeah, Allie. What's up,
I don't
Allie?
have anything else to add. I already tried to reiterate the point that just got reiterated, but apparently I didn't
I wasn't
communicate
here. I
well
didn't hear
enough.
your point.
Allie, maybe you just needed to
Never
come on
even
and
made the
say,
point.
I agree
I,
with what Jonathan said, and that was it.
no, I didn't get past the stage where I said, "Am I hearing you correctly?" And it was, "No, you're not. Shut up." So I just let it go. I never made my point.
Did you want to make it now?
Sure. Yeah, I think well, we should take opportunities to level up. And if that's meeting with someone and, then someone comes in and says, "Don't meet up with them," because they don't agree with them, and then they're limiting their opportunities and spreading that whatever, I was just thinking about language and how, I got called arrogant the other day. And I think it's because I have a love of vocabulary. I have a love of proper speech, you know, and yeah, I mean, in general, if I thought it was okay, definitely, if I thought people wanted to know, I would say it more often. Like, look, you just you just totally trash that word. Just go type in, how do you say that word? And last night I did. I sent a back channel to someone. I probably pissed them off, and I'm like, just so you know, that's not how you say that word.
No, you didn't do that, Allison.
I did. I sent it in a back channel to somebody, which is more polite than like exposing them in front of 10 other people that probably have heard the word and know that it's not the same word, but they don't want to correct them. But I think it's kind of weird the way, you know, I'm not like, I feel I'm very uncomfortable about it. And, like, I mean, I don't feel that uncomfortable, but I know that I make other people uncomfortable if I correct their speech. And I just didn't grow up that way. I grew up like, we're here to learn. And if somebody's got knows that that's the wrong way to say the word, then you just correct them and you learn. And that's how your speech becomes better and your vocabulary grows, and things like that.
I've got
So,
one for you. I've got one for you, Allie.
what one?
Um, how do you pronounce Qatar?
Qatar.
There's such a controversy over people
Nope.
pronouncing it Cutter. What the hell?
Well, it might be that that's the way they say it there, and that is the correct speech. Like, for instance, we say Calcutta for in India, right? But if you go to India, they say Kolkata. And so Calcutta is the colonial name, and Kolkata is the less colonial name, right? So that's why when you go there, they don't say Calcutta, they say Kolkata.
Yeah, I've
So
definitely
so
been
I
to
do I
Qatar.
have not been to Qatar. So I have not heard from someone from Qatar say Qatar differently, but I also maybe just have never come across somebody from there. So I very well could be wrong.
I'd like to know what people from there say. You know what I mean? I've even gotten well asked to do a job there, but in my head I was Qatar. I just that's what it looks like to me. But then again,
Uh,
how about another one for you? Iran, Iraq. And some people say Iran, Iraq.
It's true. Yeah, there's definitely
Google,
Americanized versions, and I try not to go there with that kind of stuff.
Google
But
their news. Google their news. YouTube their news.
Well,
sometimes, like,
positive brought up a really good point. I'll pass right back to you, Ali. Sheree, with Iran, and
Iran.
because
Hmm.
of like Israel. So you say Israel, you say Iran, you say Iraq.
And Arabs.
I don't know.
Barth says Hawaii.
Or
Yeah, so I don't know about
you
Qatar.
say it right, sure, right? Like it's Qatar. It's just like Qatar Airlines. So you say it right.
Yeah,
Did you
I
hear
say
somebody say
Qatar.
it differently, Sheree?
Yeah, absolutely. In
What I
press,
thought you said, but I didn't hear how they pronounce.
yeah, definitely in the press, I hear people say Qatar.
That's right. You should say that.
Yeah. Um, Bart says another funny one. He says, "I Italians."
Oh, you're getting this from Barth? I
No,
could
no,
already
no.
told you he told you the wrong thing.
No. Somebody just said Bart says something, but he cracks me up with Italians.
Oh yeah, he's funny as hell when he says it. All those words. Some people take offense to it, but it sparkles the room sometimes.
Oh, I know.
I,
I'm sorry. Not it wasn't. I was thinking of Barth, but Andrew popped in and said Arab, and it reminded me of Italian.
I think the one
Diana, I
that
was gonna ask you a question when Sir Jude asked me, I mean, asked you about meeting Hitler. Since it's Saturday night, I wanted to see what people would answer meeting Diddy now or like 6 months before everything came up. Like, people used to um, obviously worship him and like, now they changed their minds. Like, would you meet Diddy?
who worship Diddy? Where you get that from?
A
Well,
lot of
worship
people
in the
worshipped
sense
him, or not, well, not
as a
worshipped him, but
businessman,
defended
like
him and all
business,
that stuff.
yeah.
You were in
Nobody,
those rooms,
nobody,
to God. You were in
nobody
those
worship
rooms.
Diddy. That's cat. That's cat.
well, a bunch of people are saying he's a huge part of hip hop in a complimentary way. So at least there's that.
You would have to be a part of the culture because I don't know anybody that ever worshiped Diddy. I'm
But
sorry.
Degas, like when I say worship, like if he has like some kind of show, like he used to what sold out, right? Like 50,000, 100,000 people. So that's what I mean. Like, I mean, would people go see him now or meet him or even have some kind of relationship with him? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. Don't you guys still have a relationship with Donald Trump?
That was
We
funny.
never met him, so I
Fame
never
will,
met him.
fame can bring out the worst in a groupie.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are we talking about here? Are you serious?
Let me tell you something. Fame is the worst thing that could happen to a person. And I know Diddy very well. I don't even call him Diddy. We call him Puff. That's number one. Number two, he's never not been a complete asshole every time I encountered him. Every time. I could count on that. Um, yeah, I don't talk badly about people, but I don't like the way he treated me many times. And there was something behind it that I didn't know. Um, yeah, he was sleeping with my client, and then he was trying to sleep with one of my friends, and I really didn't know, and I really didn't care, but he was real shitty to me, real shitty to my fucking face every time for years. Yeah.
These
So what?
artists, they get
What
a
is?
reputation so that you hear, like, if you're working in a club and they're coming through to the club, you know, or a venue,
Sure.
it's
Just let me ask you a really quick question, Allie. When you said that fame is the worst thing that can happen to a person, the first thing that I thought about was the money is the root of all evil. It kind of gave me that sentiment. And it brings me back to what we were talking about earlier. If someone is famous and they have the ability to impact and they're good people, I don't does that make, you know what, like, it doesn't make sense to me to hear these things anymore. I remember growing up with that mentality, and that's why when Jonathan was talking about, he said the hood, and he got slammed for it. I mean, I I think that hood mentality goes beyond that of the stereotype that we've given it, right? Like sometimes great families have, uh, I mean, if you want to call it herd mentality instead, then fine. But regardless, it chains you up to think that money is the root of all evil, to think that fame is the worst thing that can happen to you. Listen, I'm fine with saying I choose to live a certain way, knowing that I can do different, right? I'm settled in that. And I think my problem is when we demonize those who want to at least give it a shot, right? And sometimes I wonder if the reason that they get hate is because deep down inside, maybe some people haven't made the decision to play, let's call it small, but have settled anyway. There's a big difference, you guys. So shout out to celibacy for that. Mwah.
Diana, correction.
Hey,
Diana,
y'all made fun of me for 2 years when I shared that with you guys. Thank God, not the people that were mean to me about it have drifted. But listen, I know it sounded like we were being mean to. You have to remember that some of us go back 5 years, and listen, there was nobody defending me when they were calling me a witch. Divine was one of the top three. Okay, so we get it. We don't want to be like that, especially in front of new people, especially on recorded shows. But that's why I'm telling JB, he's got something going on over here with like a 24/7. If it's not radio, it's Big Brother, because you can't make some of the shit up that happens in this room. So I heard somebody that wanted to jump in. Go for it.
I was just going to say to you, Diana, the actual phrase is the
Woo-hoo-hoo! Wait, you
love.
gotta announce your name.
No, I'm not.
Okay, what up?
It's the love of money. For the love of money is the root of all evil.
Hey, that's my
yes, that's the
friend. That's
big,
my
Is that my off
friend.
That's my
screen
Hi, the
friend.
friend?
God.
Let's be
way more
open.
true than the
Yeah,
first statement.
I call bullshit on that one, but okay.
No, but
Cindy.
it has to do with the
Call
people.
bullshit on that. But go ahead.
Listen, Cindy, it has to do with this. When it's not that money itself is evil, right? But it can bring out the worst in people.
No, that is not the truth. See,
I think you're in
no,
an
it's not.
environment with a lot of people
No.
that have a lot of money.
And I'm going to say it for the 50,000th time. The guy that was a prick with money was a prick before he had money. Okay?
Okay, that's fair.
The money didn't make him a prick. He was always that prick. There's the difference.
Right. Money amplifies the truth of who you really are. Like if
Thousand
you're a
You
really
percent.
good
become
person,
But money is
To
not
take
the
it
root of all evil.
you
Okay?
have
you're
to
an
take it you
empowered
have to
That
take
was
it
person
the other
with
great,
way though,
power.
Caleb.
Cindy. Take it
right?
the other way. You won't know the true person sometimes until when he's got money. They can hide their beans until when the money comes. So you have to think it the other way too.
Well, when I was talking about Puff, I didn't mention money at all. I said he was a fucking asshole. Has nothing to do with money.
Okay,
And
so but
again, he
then
was probably an asshole prior to making money.
Yeah,
It
probably.
just became a bigger asshole.
The phrase "money is the root of all evil" is a misquote. The actual biblical text states that the love of money is the root
that's
of
what I
all
said.
evil. Yes.
That's what your
That's what I
friend
said.
Well,
said.
wait a
That's
minute.
what our friend. You see, he wasn't
And
even
again,
listening to you, Cat.
why would you love to make money? How you gonna afford your lifestyle? You're gonna what? Live off the ear?
But do you know what I think? I think people with real money,
Yep.
they are not arrogant. I think it's people that are mediocre.
There's a difference. There's new money and there's
It,
old
old
money.
money. I don't think old money people are arrogant. I think it's new money people because they've never had it before. And so they've got this air of arrogance about them. And yeah, just my
Maybe,
perspective.
I've
maybe
met people
so.
with old money that are assholes. I've met people that make new money that are assholes. Listen,
Exactly.
I deal with the rich of the rich, right? Let's call it the way it is. Most
Yeah,
are
but
really good people.
yeah,
Most are
but what
really
is
good people.
money is a catalyst for people to feel emboldened to act a certain way sometimes because they can afford to just do whatever they want to do. And before, if they're having to be submissive to get XYZ things they want, and then they do have that, whatever, make
Yeah,
a
but
million in crypto, then I'm just saying sometimes power and money can be a catalyst for a total personality shift. It is possible. It happens.
And
I've
don't
seen
forget what
people
came
in this
first,
room with
Allie.
their little beans freaking get a taste of power and go a little crazy.
well, how the
Exactly.
conversation started was well, Diana and I were not debating but discussing how I said that fame is one of the worst things that could happen to a person. So I wasn't even talking about money. Surely it comes along with money, but fame, a lot comes along. So much comes along with fame that people don't realize. And I mean, I would never want to be famous. And Cindy, I agree with you. It's the under the radar wealthy people who are even more wealthy than these celebrities. A lot of them are well adjusted. And you have your exceptions, of course, but fame is a dangerous motherfucker. That's my point.
Let's look at it in another way, guys. I think the love of money is the root of all evil. Now, if you're a true believer, I'm a Christian. I'm a true believer in any faith you are at all. Money will be secondary, and it will take away arrogancy, pride, and all whatnot. But it comes with faith because you will first of all love, whatever you're worshiping first. As a true Christian, usually money is not a problem. Money is secondary. Sometimes they make it number three. Those kind of the person. And it's very hard to find people like that these days. Even some pastors. Some pastors even love money than what they proclaim to be, proclaim to be faithful, or their faith. So I think I'll chip that in, as a Christian.
So money's neutral.
Cindy, you still here?
Sitting here
Oh.
listening to this bullshit, but go ahead.
Cindy, what the hell going on, Cindy?
I walked into. Is there
I just
ever a
walked in.
logical
I just walked
conversation?
in.
Logical, just
I just
logical. I just
walked.
want logical.
Well, Cindy,
What
I
are
think
y'all discussing?
Cindy, I think what I think you misunderstood that other people were saying. I'm not saying it.
I know
Other
you're not. I know you're
Yeah,
not. Honey.
that other people were saying the love of money. Like, for example, that the person actually worships the dollar like more than they care about their kid or their husband. You know what I
I,
mean? I think that's what people were talking about, the love of money.
for
Um,
the love of money.
and like you were saying, old money versus new money. And I money and we have to put fame in there too, because that's how we originally started the conversation. But I feel that it's an atrocity for people to become famous in their adolescence age and young 20s age. Like, that's when money and fame make people go nuts, because they do all the things. They go on every vacation. They shop every fucking day. They have a stylist bringing them clothes. They go everywhere that you can possibly go. The best spa, a 6-star, excuse me, 7-star hotel. Once you go to the 7-star hotel, what else is there to do? Then they start doing drugs.
Go to the 8 star.
Yep. Then
And
there's the
star.
First of
freak
all,
offs.
how many celebrities, how many
Mhm,
musicians,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
How many athletes have been
mhm.
able to keep that money? Very few.
Very few.
Okay,
Yep.
very few.
That's my point.
So
Love's gonna get you.
You
Love's
could
gonna
Why is
get you.
that,
Love's
Cindy?
gonna get you.
Cindy,
use
why is
the
that?
word
because you
lust.
guys would you would use the word mindset. I'm not going to use that word, right? So that's never coming out of my mouth. Because I'll give it to you. Even going back to let's talk about athletes for a moment, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's use it. Let's use one of my athletes living in one of my homes right now. A guy by the name of Al Horford, right? I'm sure people have seen Al Horford play for the Celtics, right? Had a,
Uh-huh.
he's had a long career. He just actually resigned again. Because I wasn't understanding why are you trading up into a more. But then I figured out the play. The nicest man you'll ever meet in your life is Al Horford. Okay, and yes, he's got a good financial advisor. Yes, he will always have money. And a lot of athletes, they get into that party scene and have their gangs with them and their boys with them, and they're picking up the bills everywhere they go. I've seen it with many of my athletes. And then they end up, you know, they sign these big contracts and then they end up, maybe with 50 million at the end of when it's all said and done, or 30 million. But at least now these advisors have have taught these guys to put this much money away from your contract. This is your biggest contract you're going to sign. Let's put this amount of money away. I'm talking firsthand because Ray's got a lot of my clients. And you got to teach them. They're young guys making a lot of money really fast. And then they have to come in, and every one of them that I've ever known to live in any of my homes, the first thing they do is take care of their moms. Okay? Then all of a sudden, they're not making the money that they used to make. And maybe they signed a $20 million contract. Then they took their moms out of the projects. And before you know it, their moms got used to a lifestyle. And now they're trying to keep their wives, their moms, their brothers, their sisters. They don't have the money to keep that lifestyle. A $20 million contract is not going, after you pay your management fees and your taxes and everything else, is not 20 million. So those are the guys that I see end up with no money. Okay,
Yep.
because they did the right thing. They want to get their moms out of, because a lot of, especially basketball players, a lot of them had grown up in, poverty areas, and they want to take care. First thing, let me get my mom off the system, get her into a home. But then I see them struggling afterwards, 4, 5, 6 years later when they don't get another big contract or they don't get picked up again. So I mean, you want to say why? The why is people that make money that fast are not educated. They have no financial literacy. It came so fast, so young that they didn't know how to handle it. And they didn't have proper people around them to teach them how to handle that money. Now, people
Absolutely.
that actually go out and work and make money through, 10 years of hard work, 15 years, 20, 30, keep going. They've learned financial literacy. They've learned about economics. They've learned about good times in business, bad times in business. They don't forget the bad times, but you got to get there to understand it. But the love of money, no, it's not about the love of money. There's a lot of things that go into when you make money. That's growing your business. That's feeling a self worth that you've taken a nothing company and turned it into a something company. It's not just about the money, it's about the kills sometimes. It's about having a purpose. It's about getting up every day and still having a purpose. Maybe you don't need the money anymore. But if you lose a purpose, then you're going to lose who you are.
Yeah, I feel you, Cindy.
You
And
saying
in
disagree with
their
the
defense,
Bible?
You can disagree to God, go right ahead. You're
and
talking to somebody with money, so go
So
ahead.
you saying you saying you disagree with the Bible?
I don't give a. I don't live my life by the Bible to God. I live
No,
my
I'm just
life
saying
by my
because
life.
that's where they got the quote from.
I
Because
know, but I don't. If you're going to live your life by the Bible, then God bless you. But that ain't going to pay your bills either. So
right.
I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, live
Mhm.
your life as a good human being. I'm sure that's what the Bible says. Care about other people, help other people that need help. But you got to go to make a living, man. You got to go to work. And if
so
you want to talk about young people,
you're
that's what you should be
anti-Bible.
teaching them.
You're anti-Bible.
Doesn't matter if I'm anti-Bible or Bible to God. I haven't lived my life for anything but what I think is right. I don't care what the Bible says. I care what Cindy Stumpo's brain says.
So you basically say that the Bible is wrong, though,
I'm
right?
not saying it. I'm saying I don't live my life. Listen to the words I'm using. I don't use the Bible to guide me through life.
Okay.
I use my own brain to guide me through life. I don't need the Bible to tell me to be a good person. I don't need the Bible to tell me to be humble. I don't need the Bible to tell me to help people that need help. I don't need the Bible to tell me how to be a mom. I don't need the Bible to tell me how to be a daughter or a sister. I don't
Give
need
us like
that.
5 more. Somebody's going to come in and try and save you,
Do you agree that
Don't have
save
some
to
your
save
people?
me.
soul.
Do you agree that some people do though?
That's on them. They can do it if they want. Hey, buddy, whatever gets you through life, whatever gets you through life. I know it gets me through life. You do what you need to get you through life.
That
I'm
I
not.
can respect
I'm
right
not. I'm not.
there.
I'm not pushing mine onto you, but don't push yours onto me either.
Now,
Right.
but you kind of are though a little bit. I mean, I'm not. I ain't here for no smoke, but it's like you kind of pushing your way of life, your frame of reference,
Yes,
your
yes. You know why? Because I
yeah.
know I'm a good person. I know I don't hurt people. I know I do the right thing, and I hold myself accountable. Okay, and if I do wrong, I'll apologize. I don't need a Bible to tell me right from wrong. My own brain tells me right from wrong.
Well, I don't even think you would. Well, this is the thing though. The Bible doesn't even say money is evil. It says the love of money. So
We
I
already
think,
went through that. We already went through that. You missed
well,
it.
and let me
Kat
finish
said it
my damn
first, and
sentence. And
you said it
maybe
twice.
what
You
I'm
know,
saying will
I
make
love the
sense if I
phrase.
finish
I love a lot of
my
phrases I've had to
sentence.
listen to in my life. If I had money, I would do this. If I had, if I had, then I saw people that used to say that, and then they made money and made a lot of money. And guess what? They didn't do the things they said they would do if they had money. See, it's so easy to say, "Oh, I would do this and I would do that if I had money." But then when they made money, some of these people I know, they didn't do the things they said they would do.
And I'd like to touch on what you were talking about before when you used athletes as an example. And Cindy, you know me well enough. You know I'm a very positive person. However, I don't. I feel like people put an obligation on people like athletes. If these guys want to go fuck their money off and do drugs and lose their money and do all that stuff, they have every right to. The again and again and again, they are not role models. They're not, they have no obligation to be a role model to our kids. And people put
But
so
they, but they are, honey. They are.
no, but they're
But
not. They're
but
not. They play
but
basketball
young
good.
but
No,
young boys do look up
no,
to athletes. Yes, they
no,
do.
no.
Well, you can
They're
say
good
they
at a
don't, but they do.
I know
And
they're
then
good at a sport. that's why. So earlier, before, right before you came in, we were talking about. I was saying how we have to be role models. We have to have friends who are role models. We have to, like
It
my
all sounds wonderful. I love it.
right.
I absolutely love what you're
Mhm.
saying. But are they going to look at your friend as the role model? Are they going to look at the musician? I mean, let's be realistic here.
No, my kid is, and I did. My parents are doctors. My parents are educated. All of their friends, all of their siblings are educated. To me, those are role models, not celebrities.
But did you see that at 12 and 13?
Maybe not. I mean,
Okay.
they were good. I knew that I was in a safe place, and I had great people around me. I could see that when I was 12, but like teaching. Come on, we can't teach our kids that Puff Daddy is a fucking role model or LeBron James. We can't. I mean, we can't teach that to our kids. We have to show them what true role models are. Are they great at their
Yeah.
sport? Yes, they're great at their sport.
If
God
you
bless.
ask any young kid between the age of 10, maybe 8 to 12, 13, yes,
Mhm.
they do look at athletes as role models.
No, they
Yes, they
To be
do.
Batman.
they do, but they are not role models. Is my
I
point,
agree with you,
and we have to teach our
but we're
kids
talking as adults, not children.
That is where you come in as a parent. When they're
right.
looking at celebrity
Exactly.
as role model,
You
then you
show
come in as a parent and tell them those are not role models.
Yes, we show them an example. All my parents' friends were role models.
But see, you guys, to me, you lose me when you say that because it goes against science. We are all role models, whether we like it or not.
That is not
And
true. That
I
is
mean,
not true.
it,
That's not
it
true. The
it's
mother that's out
biologically
there
true.
doing drugs and whoring around and has children at home, that's not a role model to
Yeah.
her boys
It
or
may be a bad role model, but
You
it
see
is
that
still a role
positively
model,
or
Cindy.
No,
she's right.
role model
Or negative.
refers to a positive insight. I mean,
Not
Diana.
necessarily though.
well, I disagree with that.
Whoever's in that role is the role model could be bad, and you could be doing the opposite or following in their footsteps,
Okay.
right? It's a
So,
choice.
so Epstein's a role model. There you go.
JB's a role model.
100%.
Everyone, yes. And Caleb,
Donald
it's
Trump
kind of
is a
like what
role
you said
model.
about Caleb. It's kind of like what you said
A
about
drug dealer is a
money
role
and
model.
money
A
being
drug dealer
neutral.
is a role model.
Right.
And the Kardashians are role models. Do you want your daughters to be the Kardashians?
Cindy's a
No,
role model.
because there are models for my daughter, but it doesn't change the fact that absolutely they are role models.
In general, Sheree's right, though. I mean, if people say role model, be a good role model, they can say not. They don't need to say good. They can say be a role model, and it's generally referred to in a public, way.
Yeah, keyword
No,
model.
in a
Go
positive
look at
way, not
home.
a negative way.
If you go look at keyword is model. If you go look at a model home, is it the dilapidated crack house, trap house? No, it's the model.
What?
But you have to qualify it. Good model. We usually say you have to be a good model. See how your father is. See how your uncle. Those are good role models. They can be bad role model.
We know
You know,
that
some
as
we are.
adults, you don't know that as children.
That is where you come in as a parent.
Of
That is where you
course,
come in.
of course. But again, they're still going to have role models that they look up to, whether they're athletes. I don't know about musicians, but whatever. Athletes do play a big role, especially young boys.
But it's up to us to teach them that they are good at sports. They're not. They don't have. I don't feel they have any obligation to be this clean cut person because they're good at basketball. I don't.
But they're not, it's not just about them being good at basketball. It goes back to what Cindy was describing about money and building business. It's not, it's the process, it's the journey, it's the skill set in maintaining routines and consistency and all those things. So regardless of what people's opinions are of athletes or celebrities or people in the arts or fame, it's neither here or there. And just like model is not the nicest, prettiest, best. Sometimes model just means the first. And if you are on that spiritual journey and you feel that this is your one life, one body, then you are a role model. I mean, we're called to be role models of God in the Bible. So, like, we can have this conversation all day long. I go for the root, right? you choose to be a good or bad role model, but you are here to be a role model for sure.
I agree. To incarnate is to sign up for it in a way.
Sorry, disagree. There are bad role models out there. Sorry. There are bad
Cindy,
parents
that's
out there.
totally different.
There's
I
good
agree with
parents out
you.
there. I'm sorry, not everybody is a role model to their children, okay? Your
Cindy, you're
kids,
basically saying the same thing
Chris,
with
you
her.
can sit
She's saying
there
the same
and
thing.
Chris, you can sit there and be the best role model. You can lead by example. When your kids go out the door and they get to ages, they're going to do what their friends are doing. Even though you try to teach your kids to be what? A leader, not a follower. Sometimes they're just going to jump into what their friends are doing, and your words have no meaning. No meaning.
It's a
Zero.
fact.
And that's reality, whether we like it or not. We can sit here and have pink flying unicorns over our heads. But the truth is, once they get with their friends, you don't even know what they're doing. None of us really know what our kids are doing after a certain age with their buddies or their girlfriends. Okay?
You don't know what they doing in their room.
Exactly.
Right.
Behind their computer.
Oh gosh.
But look, I've seen, like I said, once those kids walk out the door, they're going to do what their friends are doing, and some aren't, and some are going to walk away, and some are going to say, I don't want to drink, I don't want to do drugs, that's not what I want to do, and they'll find a new group of friends. But a lot of them fall to peer pressure. Why are kids dying every 11 minutes out there? Why is there, every 11 minutes? Some kid takes a pill, some kid does this and dies of a fentanyl overdose. Why? Because they got it from their friends, not their parents.
Cindy, it's a tough world out here. I always tell my son, I only have one son and three girls. And my son is the first. Of course, at the early stage, they don't listen to you. But like I always tell other people, don't stop talking. If they don't listen right now, they're gonna come back later and thank you. Dad, that you never give up, mom, that you never give up. But they do listen. And I always tell them about role model, good role model. We do Bible studies every night. Yeah, you're right. If they step outside, you don't know what they're doing. You're right. But I always tell them, if I don't see you, you know who sees you? God sees you. You can't do anything in hiding. Now they're grown. My son is 29. That guy come back and say, Dad, he's thanking me. Thank you